Accomplished session musician, YouTube personality, Canadian guitarist Jay Leonard J agreed to be interviewed on the Autistic Guitarist channel. I promise you it will be interesting, surprising and funny. Jay, can you tell us how you got into the guitar?
Well, I guess there's music in the guitar. I got into the guitar because my grandparents were moving to a new house, and they had this old beaten up acoustic guitar, like this, those nylon string guitars where the action's like this high off the fretboard, like super crazy. And they left it at my parents' place, and at the time, I was really obsessed with Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly, do you know Buddy Holly? He's like this 50s rocker. He's actually my hero. Actually, my daughter's name is Holly. I named her after Buddy Holly, and so I got the guitar, and my dad taught me like all the Buddy Holly chords, and luckily there's like only 6. There's not he does the like 3 chords. And he probably has 2 different keys he does stuff in, right? Plays with the keyboard. So it was like really easy to get into it. But my dad teaching me those couple chords, and he knew a couple Buddy Holly songs, and I learned it. And that's kind of really what got me going, just getting into this whole world of guitar. And it just kind of built crazier and crazier from that point on.
Okay, so I can understand why you're bringing in your channel all those old-fashioned guitar playing, all those... all these hits. It's incredible.
I know it's crazy. Like being a kid, I didn't really. I was listening to a lot of the old. I don't know why, but when I was young, I was really into the '50s culture, like old monster movies from the '50s, and the style and films. I love to watch films and read stuff and all the cool artwork and everything. So there was this. Mixtape my aunt made, and it had all these like 90s pop songs on it, and she made it on a cassette, and the last song on it was Buddy Holly, Peggy Sue. And when I heard that was my gateway into 50s culture. And then the guitar and all the early songs I ever learned on guitar, they were all like 50s and 60s era music.
Unbelievable. Great. I guess I've never heard of a guitar player being influenced by Buddy Holly. For sure, he influenced a lot of people, but people telling it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, great. So it will bring me to my second question. You bring the rhythm guitar to the front. It sounds like an anti-rock approach. How did it happen?
Oh, I never thought of it as like an anti-hero approach, I guess. I think everybody likes music, or they fall in love with music for different reasons, and we're in music for different reasons. Some people use music as a form of self-therapy, or some people use it as a way to express emotions that they can't use with words, and some people use it as a way to make connections or to emote certain things. And for me, I always thought music, for me, where I love it and what makes it fun for me is the sharing of music with people, and getting people to move and getting people to dance, and the energy of just seeing a bunch of humans in a room just wagging their arms around and dancing. And rhythm, that's how you do it. The rhythm guitar having the nice, really percussive sound, and being a percussive player, it makes you want to dance. That's where the movement and the energy, for me, of music comes through. And I guess I've really focused on rhythm, and I've always been into it for a long time just because of that. Also because I like to play with other people, and when you're in a band, for 90% of the show, you're playing rhythm. You're only playing solos for just a little chunk of time. And if you want to be a really successful musician with other people, you would get more gigs being a better rhythm player than you would being a better soloist. If you have a good right hand, you have a good feel, and you really know how to bring in the music without overwhelming the band with rhythm, it just it's invaluable. Whereas the soloing thing, it's very personal, and it you know, it's your moment to shine, obviously. But I just love being part of the rhythm section and everything. And but it's funny because I do like to solo, and of course I'm a big showboater. I love to get in that motion and play solos. But I guess I got known as a rhythm player mainly because when I started making YouTube videos, I didn't want to use backing tracks. I just wanted to play the instrument on its own. And when I was just playing solo lines, it didn't seem as fun. You hearing the full chord and feeling the energy, it was better for me to play rhythm and everything like that, or to mix my soloing with the rhythm, and then it just kind of created this sound that I guess I'm kind of known for.
I totally agree with this approach, and I have to say that it's almost impossible to watch your videos and not rocking. There is so much groove in each video and so much happiness and positive energy. It's really you. It's you. Your playing is you, and you are your playing. It's amazing.
Yeah. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and when you're playing that percussive, it's so funny because you have to kind of leave yourself, right? You have to, because you're so focused on keeping that groove and keeping that energy and that momentum of the playing up. So sometimes when I look at videos of myself back and I'm seeing myself making these funny faces and everything like that, I'm like, ah. But then if I try to be cool and like try to look like laid back, then it doesn't funk the same way. So I guess, yeah, that by having that energy, it really kind of helps the rhythm come out of the guitar as well.
Well, so cool to get this explanation about your rhythm guitar's point of view. Thank you for that. Okay, so if you agree, the third question. Who are the guitarists who have influenced you, and what kind of music do you hear? So we know now that Buddy Holly was a main influence at your beginnings, but do other guitarists influence you too?
Oh, geez, I guess after I was into Buddy Holly, and by Buddy Holly I mean I got into a lot of those, the playing that Bo Diddley kind of tone, and I kind of moved up in music history from there on. And I do the longest phase I had in terms of when you're still trying to find your voice as a guitar player. There's that journey you go through when you're just sucking in as much information you can, and then once you sucked in enough information, you just churn it up in your stomach and release you come out of all that. And the longest phase I think I had with any artist would probably be like someone like Jimi Hendrix. I think everyone loves Jimi Hendrix, and I just always loved his feel and his creativity and his fearlessness, and yeah, like just going all out, and just this is just a lovely energy to it. But I have definitely different interests, or not, what do you call it, influences for different things. Like for the way my guitar sounds, I really like Albert Collins. I think he has the coolest guitar tone ever. Dick Dale, I like all those surf guys. The cinematic guitar playing too, like those Ennio Morricone, like Italian Western movies, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Well, I forgot the name of the guitarist. I think it's like Alessandro Alambris, some crazy Italian name, but he's incredible guitar sounds. In terms of like building a solo, I've always liked Danny Gatton, because he has this version. The thing I like about him is obviously he's technically great, but he builds a solo so well. Like he does this song Sleepwalk, it's like a studio version of it. There's a couple, but there's one, and it's one of those songs where it's just so simple and it's so wonderful, and he just able to bloom it up. And when you think he can't go any bigger, he just can go. He finds another level, and when he can't get any bigger, he just gets a little bit more and a little bit more. And man, when I'm trying to play solos, I'm always trying to channel that. Don't throw it all out at once. Really, just try to create a narrative and build on that narrative. When it comes to percussive playing, I like Nile Rodgers, Steve Lukather, more for his studio stuff, like the stuff he did with Michael Jackson, like just those really tasty funk little licks and rhythms, and that nice just in the pocket like he has. we get caught up with the more rocky side of Steve Lukather stuff, but like he really has some really cool stuff. George Benson, I really love George Benson in terms of his phrasing, and in terms of how I perform music, I would say Gary Busey in the movie The Buddy Holly Story. So Gary Busey is not really, he's not a musician by any sense, but if you watch that movie, the way he performs when he plays on stage, I think I got more of my stage performance from this actor pretending to be Buddy Holly than any actual musician in the history. Like, I think it's because maybe Gary Busey was, he's not really a musician, so he was channeling in the joy of it and the youth and the enthusiasm of it, and just watching it, it's just so. His performance in that movie of how he performs on stage, you want to play guitar, you want to rock, you want to just strum as hard as you can and sing as loud, and it doesn't matter if you're in key, you're just going for it. And so I would say those are that. I don't. That's a lot. That's kind of my influences and everything like that in terms of guitars.
Amazing! It's absolutely amazing. But Steve Lukather is one of the reason I'm playing guitar too.
Oh really? Oh.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, I heard the Beat It featuring Van Halen and Steve Lukather in the same track. Yeah. And it's everything started there for me too.
It's amazing, and it's really it's nice too to see it in its pure form. Because obviously every generation, everyone says music's not. I feel like every generation we're getting better. From a technical standpoint, it's so easy to become an incredible guitar player now because of all the resources that we have. But really, those guys guys and women set the groundwork for all of the blueprint of what guitar playing is. And just looking back on it and learning it, you could kind of see the evolution. Listening to them, and then you have a deeper understanding of music. The more you understand the roots, I think the more you understand the present. But there's a lot of great, incredible guitar players out too, modern guitar players as well. But in terms of influences, those would be the cats.
Okay, great. So the next question: how did your love story with Telecasters begin?
So I tell the story a couple times. So I was in high school, and there was this girl I really liked, and I really wanted to go on a date with her, and so she said yes. Thank goodness she did, and it was like the perfect high school kid's dream. It was at her parents' place. Her parents were out of town, so I was like, oh, what an amazing thing. I go over and I go to her living room, and we have the TV on, just TV on while we're talking and whatever, just, I don't know what high school kids talk about when they're on dates, but whatever that was, that's what we were doing. And on the TV, it was on the music television, and they had a thing called the Sunday Night Blues Showcase. And on the Sunday Night Blues Showcase, they would, I guess, have different blues artists and stuff. It was just background noise, but I was talking to her, and all of a sudden I heard this really aggressive, mean sound. Like just something, whoa, what was that? And I looked at the TV, and it was an Albert Collins concert. And his guitar had to be one of the most electric, powerful, in-your-face, bold, like tough as nails sound I have ever heard in my life. And there was this point where I was talking to her, and I just got so sucked into this video that she was not interested in the video. She just wanted to watch something else or whatever. But I had to watch this thing, and I was so involved in this, and the way his guitar sounded, that Telecaster bridge pickup was just incredible. And so, long story short, I lost the girl, but I gained a deeper love with the Fender Telecaster, and I've always loved Telecasters. The sound of a Telecaster bridge pickup is I don't know, it's as close to heavenliness as I think anyone could ever get to. I just love it.
Great. So, can you tell us what a typical work week is for Jay?
A typical work week, Things have changed a lot in the last year, as well as the last 5 years. It's been a real crazy thing, and I guess the reason why I love being in the music industry and playing music is the fact that there is no average work week, and that average work week can really change depending on what season I'm at, or what's going on. Like 5 years ago, before my kids were born, I was a touring guitar player, and I was playing for all these pop singers in Hong Kong and doing the Hong Kong circuit and doing the world tour things, being out of town for 3 months at a time and everything like that. And then after that, I started to focus more and more on local bands and everything like that. But and then the YouTube thing kind of started. But right now, pretty much I have like three or four different things that I do during the week. It would be a lot of I have like pedals that come in and everything, so I like to learn the pedals, and I like to talk to the designer. I like to understand what's going on there, because I don't really review pedals. I do reviews on my Patreon account, but I don't review them. I'm more like a cooking show. So I show you ingredient, the pedals, the ingredient, and I'm showing you recipes, how to take advantage of it, what the capabilities are. So I do like to do a little bit of research beforehand and film the video. So I usually spend about 2 to 3 days, working on the videos. I have a recording studio in East Vancouver that I work out of as well. I have a wonderful film composer named Daryl Bennett. I do a lot of guitar playing for the the movie soundtracks and stuff that he's working on. So that I'd probably do that, one day, just come in and get that done. And I have a what do you call it, a bunch of bands that I play in, and it depends on what their tour schedule is, but I play with a soul singer and a bluegrass artist and a rock reggae band, and I have another project which is a band called Trilogy, and that is actually it's just a party band, like an event band, so we do a lot of festivals. We also do award shows and everything like that. I also do, so you could tell there's like a lot of different pieces, because, in the summer there's festivals and NAMM and the Toman stuff. And sometimes I go up to Europe to do videos for pedal companies. And then in the winter, I'll be in here, say, doing a theater play, and I'll be doing this. And then, in the fall, I'm going on tour with this artist. So it really depends. The only thing that really remains relatively consistent is the fact that I'm usually trying to get maybe one video done a week. And it's crazy. It's a lot of, just getting one video is a lot of work, but so definitely stretch myself thin over the last year. Obviously there has been no touring, so it's really given me a little bit of time to relax. And I'll tell you, relaxing has been really awesome. I've really enjoyed just kind of taking a step back, because I've been kind of real full speed ahead ever since college. I finished college, I went full speed ahead, and actually, as horrible as everything was, actually it was a really nice year to kind of remind myself, hey, you can, maybe cut off a little of the fat around the edges and just keep doing the stuff that you love. Get rid of all the other stuff.
Great. I saw your last cover with Chill J and Rock Your Body. Wow. Yeah. What a groove.
That's really good. Yeah.
And you're soloing there.
Oh, yeah. I did a couple little Steve Lukather.
Yeah. You got it. You really got it.
The guy who arranged that, Jay Leonard, the keyboard player, he arranged that. He did an awesome arrangement. There's a little bit of Luther.
What singer too?
Oh, he's a killer singer. Everyone in that group. That band actually started because all three of us were local Vancouver artists. We're all part of the scene, so it's very incestuous. Everyone plays with everyone's band, and everyone fills in for other people when they go on.
Incestuous.
It is. And we were, the three of us are really, really good friends, and we've been friends for so long. The keyboard player played in a hip hop group that I was in for a while called the Airtights, and I knew the bass player from when from a singer. The singer, it's like so many different connections. I have the singer who's the anthem singer for the Canucks, which is our hockey team, and she has a band, and he was in the band. We became friends, and the boys, we were all these session musicians, all these giggy musicians in the city, we love how we play. And so we created this little Trilogy band. And it's great because we don't rehearse and everything is typically we try to keep it really authentic. It's about communication, reading off of each other. Halfway through a song, we'll change genre. We'll go make it a reggae, or we'll make it a whatever, or constantly try to trick each other out. It's really fun. Nice group participation, band play.
So it brings us to my next question. You almost answered, but what is your musical news? Do you have any plans to get back on stage? Trio, Trilogy?
Yeah, well, yeah, the band is things have opened up quite a bit in Vancouver. So we have done a few festivals already, and obviously we're starting to get back into that. Things are really opening up, which has been great. So we do have a couple things. I've been doing some videos for Catlin Bread and KMA. So they're doing Catlin Bread's trying to do a refresh of a lot of their classic pedals. So I've been helping them put together some content on that side, and KMA has been great. Been releasing a couple pedals, and I've been helping them with that. There is a couple things I can't talk about that is coming up on the horizon. I really do. I want to show.
I'm tuned. I will.
I think the other big thing I think I could say in terms of musical news is if anyone's in Vancouver. In I think November, December, there's the big theater in Vancouver where all the big plays in Vancouver are. It's called the Stanley. It's on Granville Street. It's kind of the iconic Vancouver playhouse. So they're actually coming back, and they're doing a 2-month run for the Christmas season. So it's like this. It's actually a country show. And it's so I'm going to be doing the musical theater thing there. It's a house band, so I'll be doing all these country licks, playing acoustic and electric, and I think it's called like the Rocky Mountain Christmas Show or something. It's like Dolly Parton put together like this Christmas show, and so it's country music, and I has like there's a story, and I don't know. It's been like really hush hush. I actually just got the go ahead to talk about that. And it's happening. So that's going to be taking up most of my winter. So yeah, lots of really cool excitement.
When you talked about your influences, you talked a lot about the American USA culture, but I know the Canadian scene is monstrous. There are a lot of insane guitarists in your country, and you didn't remind one of them, one of your Canadian influences. There's so much good bands, guitarists. It's amazing that you even didn't mention one of your compatriots.
It is very, very true. I feel like I should have a Canadian bias. It's true. I actually, if I could turn back the clock, there is one Canadian artist actually who was a really, really influential in my life, and he's actually a guitar player named Colin James. I don't know if you know who he is, but he was very popular in Canada, and he was actually a little bit of the first CD I bought with my own money. Like you save up your birthday present money stuff. It was a Colin James album, Bad Habits, and I owned every album he had, and I was crazy about him. I think he's like a blues artist and everything like that. I remember I was once here. I'm gonna tell you an embarrassing story. I was once at a Toys R Us, which is a toy store in Canada and the States. I saw him with his daughter, right? And I was like, oh, that's Colin James. That's Colin James. And I was like, I'm gonna go talk to him. I'm going to tell him that he was a big influence in my life, and he got me really, in the early stages of my life, really got me into guitar. So I walked up to Colin James, and, I've talked to, a bunch of famous people before. I don't have any problems talking to celebrities or anything like that. But when I talked to him, I was like, hey, excuse me, are you Colin James? And he said, yeah, man. And now when he said, yeah, man, okay, his voice was just like the CD. It's like his voice sounded like the album. And all of a sudden, because again, I've met a bunch of great influential artists, but the thing about him is I was into him at such a young age, and all of a sudden I wasn't, I think at the time I wasn't like 20 anymore. I was like 10, and I just remember freezing And then I was just like, I forgot how to talk, and I was just like, "Ah, and I was like I was trying to say words, and words wouldn't come out of my mouth. And then he was very polite, and he said, "Well, thanks for being a fan, man." And I said,
I have the same story.
so embarrassing. But yeah, Colin James, in terms of Canadian,
I have the same story with Nuno Betancourt. He was here in Israel, so I went to him, Harry, the most fast I could, and when I was in front of him, I couldn't speak. I'm autistic, so it's not so easy for me to communicate. But English, autism, and I was absolutely mad at this period about him. And still, he's a huge player, and he really influenced me. I didn't know. I have nothing to tell him. I was so ashamed. What can I tell him?
Experience.
Man, you play
Your
good.
brain's working. I know, it's so funny. It was such a weird it was such a weird experience because your brain's working. Your brain's working, but like for some reason something else is working. And it was, again, of all people, it was, I remember, it was Colin James. I usually am a pretty cocky guy. So, I met Aretha Franklin and give her a big hug and, yell at her and all this stuff. But yeah, for some reason, Colin James, he got me like right in the childhood feels, and I just couldn't do anything. I was frozen.
Jay, so cool. Okay, so next question. It's less guitar oriented. Beyond your incredible playing, it is quite difficult not to pay attention to your continual broad smile and your boundless energy. As an autistic who struggled at school, I wondered what kind of child you were to your parents and teachers.
Oh, geez. I will say I've always been very high energy from a very, very young age. I was always the kid to run away, and my parents were always chasing me and always on the go. And I think cool down. I think my dad has said that phrase more than any phrase I think he's ever said to anybody. So I've always had a lot of energy, and I've always been, I don't know. I've always been a relatively optimistic person. I think I had a very good high school experience. High school's a very weird time in a person's life. So many emotions and, puberty and feels and stuff. But I don't know. I think I've always had this, joy. I've always just enjoyed the experience, especially with on YouTube. You always see me, I'm smiling, but it's because I'm playing guitar. I just really love it, and it's a wonderful job, and it's so good for the soul. And meeting new people, sharing experiences, hearing something that sounds really good. These are like little things that just get me so excited. And I don't know, it's also, I have trouble with cynicism and pessimism. I find them very safe, because I think to be optimistic, it's a bold choice, and it keeps you moving forward, and it's a very tough thing to do, because it's always so easy to say something isn't good, something sucks. If you're in a situation, you're in a conversation, you will have a much better time breaking into conversations and making fun of something or talking about how something's bad. Yeah, we've all been in that situation. You feel uncomfortable, so you'll try to make fun of someone else, or you try to, bring in that, and I think that prevents you from pushing forward and being creative, because in order to be optimistic, and you have to be bold, and you have to go in headstrong and just really just allow things to come to you. And I think that's one of the keys also to being a good guitar player. If you want to be there's so many people out there that think they're not good guitar players, but the problem is, the reason why you think you're not a good guitar player is because you don't think you're a good guitar player. You are afraid of your own ability to become good. And if you could just embrace your mistakes and embrace, the journey, and don't think of the bad notes and the bad phrases as failures, but think of them as it's part of the fun and the vibrancy and the energy of music, the imperfection. Like, we all chase perfection, but the beauty of music is in the imperfection. And if you could learn to just handle it and take it and own it, you'll find a love for it, and it's a wonderful, pure joy. And so yeah, play guitar, you can't help but smile.
We finished, and I figure out I didn't prepare any question about gear. Yeah, I know you so much. I know your channel. I know everything about you, and I know this band song, and I know this Tom King. But maybe some viewers are not lucky as I am and don't know you. So I will love you to explain us what is your go-to amp, your go-to pedals, free pedals. Guitar, we know this is your legendary Telecaster, but for the rest,
amps is tough. Because I love guitar amplifiers. That is, if there's anything I'm in it for, it's guitar amps. So I like amps more than I like pedals. I think amps are the best. Maybe it's because I'm relatively faithful to my guitars. I have like a very, a fairly, now that I'm a YouTuber, I guess things have gone out of control, but I have a selection of guitars that I really hold on to. So really, amp is what helps me find my voice. So amp changes very, very much in terms of what my go-to amp is. On the page, I typically I have these two, the Benson, which is the Chimera over here, and then I have this one, which is the Tone King Imperial. Now,
I have it too there.
Yeah, you got one too? Oh, yeah. You got one too? All right, welcome to the family. With this one, I've been using this a ton lately, and the reason why is actually, when I was first started doing these videos, I was using I have a 1964, 1965, I think it's one of those 2 years, Fender Deluxe amp. And so it's not the Deluxe Reverb, it's a Deluxe. So it's the Deluxe Reverb with no reverb. So it's slightly less gain, but the voicing's pretty much exactly the same. And I think when people hear guitar, that's clean guitar, that's probably what they hear in their head, the Deluxe Reverb. Mm-hmm. So when I would demo pedals, you wouldn't hear the amp, you'd hear more of the pedal, which is fun. Because I could play like a beautiful, there's a couple amps I love, like 65 amp Little Elvis is one of the greatest little amps I've ever played. But if I play that on the page and I plug a pedal into it, you're going to hear so much of that amp that you're going to get kind of lied to. So I've always thought for the page, having a nice blackface sound is good. So I've been using this because this has a great blackface sound, and it's smooth enough, so it handles gains really nice without getting too harsh on the top. Just delicious. And then it has this lovely little tweed side to it too, if I just want to grit it up just a touch. I had used this a ton, and it's still one of my all-time favorite amps. It's
I'm so jealous. We can get lovely. Oh, yeah. Lovely. We can get it in Israel, so I'm really crazy about it. Oh. Yeah. But I will try because of you. I really love this amp. Oh everything is because of you.
He has two amps. Vince makes two, the Chimera and the Monarch. And I had the Monarch and I got the Chimera, and I like the Chimera because I like having the little bass knob there. It's so subtle, the bass knob, but for me, it's nice to be able to dial it in, especially if you're trying different cabs. But I also it's just a little firmer. But the Chimera is what I like because it reminds me of like an older 50s amp, like a Univox or something like that. But
oh, really?
Yeah, but it has a tightness. Like if you ever played like an old Supro or an old Univox amp, they get so saggy and spongy and they kind of spit out at you and give up. This one has like that nice character of an old amp, but with just a modern kind of tightness. And I also love this amp because it just kills. The Monarch is a 15-watt amp, and I went to the Portland Guitar Show. Was it Portland or Tacoma? I was in Tacoma. That's what it was. And I was in this room. It was the amp room, and they had all these 100-watt stacks, like these huge Marshall stacks or whatever companies insert here everyone blaring, and there was one amp that was the loudest amp. It just cut right through the mix, and it was this 15-watt Benson amp. The voicing of it is perfect. It sits right in that sweet spot. It doesn't have too much bass. It's not too much on top. It's just that wonderful little spot right in the middle, and it finds its way through any sound. So those are great amps. But besides that, yeah, amps for when I'm playing gigs, it's all over the place, man. I'm playing all kinds of amps depending on the size, and I think it's me getting back at my younger self, because I used to only be able to afford one amp. And so when it was festival season, I would trade that amp in for a big one. And then when it was cold and I had to do indoor shows, I traded that amp in for a small one. So now that I can have lots of amps, I take advantage of it. So I have a room full of amps. When it comes to pedals, I like, there's an overdrive that I really like. It's called the Liquid Sunshine by Subdecay. I think that's a really, really cool overdrive. I have the new one and the old one. I really like my old one. I like it.
You made a video.
I mean, yeah, that's right.
Comparison video about it. I remember it. You know.
Yeah, you know.
I'm a big fan.
I love that. I think that's a really fun sounding pedal. I think it has a great character to it. I like the fact that it's not transparent, and I can make it sound like a treble booster. I can make it sound like a gain. I can make it sound, and it's a sound, like when I turn it on, I can hear that the sound changes. So I like that. Fuzzes, a fuzz, actually going back to Benson. Benson has a fuzz that I absolutely just love. Check that out. I always play with a wah pedal. MJM has a great one. Jam Pedals has a really great one. And yeah, delays is a hard one, man. It's hard to find the perfect delay. It's really hard. There's 3 delay sounds every person needs, and it's the slapback, that atmospheric one, like the 400 milliseconds, and then that like rhythmic dotted 8th note one. You need those 3. So it's either you get a pedal that has presets, or you have 3 delays on your board, but I gotta have those 3 sounds at any time. But I don't know. If I had to pick one pedal, though, to take anywhere with me, and it was just my pedal, it'd probably be a Proco Rat. I have an old 90s Proco Rat that I've been using. I got from my aunt when I was a kid, and it's probably, to this day, it's on the board all the time. I don't know why. It just kind of stuck around. I could get any pedal in the world, but that Proco Rat,
amazing. And as a funk player, you didn't speak about a compressor or the usual pedal for a right-hand player.
Funny. I am known as a funk player, and I am known as but what people don't realize is actually I don't play with very much compression at all. I do like to use compression on a lot, here and there, but when I make a video, I never use compression in my videos, because compressors make everything sound too good. So if I'm demoing a pedal and I put a compressor, that pedal's gonna sound way better. So that's just cheating. So when I play live, my amp is kind of at a point when I play live that if I put compression, it might be too much. It might be a little too squeezy, because I don't play with that pristine clean when I play live. There's always a little bit of edge. So if I'm at that edge, I have to be pretty delicate with my compressors and everything like that. So, but there are compressors that I really, really love. There's one I want to talk about, but I can't. But that one that I can't talk about is probably one of my favorite ones right now. But Origin makes a great one, and Jam makes a great one, the Dinosaur, that I really like as well.
You have a great company in Canada, Empress. They're absolutely
great. A lot of great.
Yeah. Their delay pedal, the ecosystem is unbelievable, and he has the features that you need.
So
more than 3 delays.
To get me ranting here, I'm talking so much today. The thing about the ecosystem is, Empress is a fantastic. In fact, there's so many great Canadian pedal companies that I even did a whole series. I built an entire rig of only Canadian stuff, Canadian amps.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was great.
And finding it was hard, because Empress had so many great pedals, picking one, but I picked the ecosystem. Now, I love the ecosystem. Their delays, I remember what the original, like that, what do you call it?
The super delay.
Yeah, I remember that thing. I thought it was great. But my one problem with the Echo thing, and the reason why I don't use it on the board, is because I'm colorblind. And the LEDs change colors to tell you what preset channel you're on, what mode you're on, what your thing is. So I can't use that pedal because all those colors are practically the same to me. So it's very tough. And in fact, just in general in the whole industry, finding colorblind friendly pedals, it's a deal breaker because
it's amazing. I have some issues in some leads because of my autism. I have sensitive issues, and some leads are way too strong for me on stage, so I can play with the pedals. Wow, it's amazing. I didn't even ever think about being colorblind as a problem for a guitar player, but yes, it is. Wow, it's
Definitely.
amazing.
A lot of pedals, like especially ones that use LEDs to tell you what the subdivisions are on a delay or what mode you're on. Things, and there's small things like when you're trying to charge your battery before a gig. If it's red, there's no battery life. If it's green, it's good. If it's orange, it's charging or something. It's the same color. I have no clue. So I'm always going around like, what color is this? Especially if you look at just the most of the guitars I play are blue, and the reason why is because I can see the color blue pretty good. And when I wear clothes, it's black and whites. I might put a splash of color, but there's a lot of times where I'll try to put in a splash of color, and it won't be the color that I think it is, and then it won't. It's just so funny. So yeah, color is definitely, it does have an influence. It does have an influence in what I do, and specifically the gear that I pick. And that's the legacy that I think I want to have when I hang up the guitar. It's that the pedal companies start making more colorblind friendly pedals, because I think I've convinced a couple makers to think about that when they do stuff. So that's the little seed I want to put.
I remember. You may not remember that, but one day I wrote to you to tell you that I stole a song from you. I'm hyperamnesic. I remember everything. So I played the song, recorded the song, and thought in the same time that I am a genius. And after so many days listening to the song, I had a really big doubt about me being the creator of this song. So I wrote you an email telling you that I thought that it was a song of you, but I don't know where I heard it. I was pretty sure I heard it in your channel, and you told me, yeah, it's great. Send me the song. Everything is okay. I felt really bad with it, and you gave me such a good reaction and feedback. So I felt really good as being a thief. Thank you.
You never sent me that song, by the way. I'm thinking you never sent it to me. To hear that people are feeling they get inspired or they pick up something from me. I think that's one of the best compliments I think I could ever get, and it was wonderful to get an email, and I thought it was so thoughtful for you to send that out, and it was just really wonderful. And I'm really curious to hear what that song sounds like, actually.
Yeah, I will send it to you. I have to tell you that you're the first person I ever interviewed. I didn't know that I would interview someone I'm really close to, and you don't know me, but I really know you for years, and your kindness is legendary. You're like a sunshine coming from the screen of my computer once a week, and I really thank you for that. It's fabulous what you are doing for me and for many other, I'm sure. Your YouTube channel is really successful. It's not only because of your fabulous playing, but also because of who you are. So thank you for everything. Really, thank you.
Oh, well, it's been a pleasure to be, and thank you so much for your kind words. And I'm really happy that you reached out. It's been great to talk to you and great to know you, and it was an absolute pleasure to do this interview today.